That was Riding Home with the Reader. We are live off the floor, and welcome to the Conquerall Mills Music Show on 88.7 Cove FM and online at covefm.com. Tonight, I am featuring the music and talents of folk, country, blues artist Ken Voita.
First of the month when the sun set fire to the heavens above, and her daddy told me once that she couldn't get enough water flowing through her hands. She found him lost on a blacktop road where the weeds blew through the cracks and the holes. His red wings were worn right down to the soles from the grinding wheel of this land. Told her he couldn't do nothing right. The bottom falls out whenever he tries, but you can't measure hope by the width of a smile or time by the length of a kiss. She took the stars right down from the heavens and showed him a life that was really worth living, where all of his faults just might be forgiven, where he could have something to give. He was a rebel and she was a fool. No one's to blame when you can't find proof of a picture in your head that you wanna let loose on a world you just can't find. She was alone and he was in hand, and she gave him cover and he gave her pain, and lives on in their hearts to this day under a highway sky. Just like running down an old highway and getting to nothing. No people, no cars, no cities, no money, just the mountains and the rivers and you. The day it all shattered, the bottom fell out of a brown paper bag and the bottle fell down. The storm raged all over this old town and he felt the blood in his veins. The stars she gave him that turned into poison, her words of love she just turned into noise. The hatred inside of him gave him no choice. He went out the way he came. She was a rebel and he was a fool. If only they'd known that you can't bend the rules. You can't get back what you permanently lose from the times you did not try. She wasn't ready and he wasn't either. Sometimes it takes a miracle to make a believer. As the years go by you get weaker and weaker under a highway sky. That highway sky, it goes on forever. Just the sun and the wind and the road and the weather and the loneliness that holds it all together between the hellos and goodbyes. One of these days he's gonna head on home where the creek runs down by the dirt track road to the only comfort his life's ever known, under a highway sky. Under a highway sky. Thank you.
And that was Highway Sky by our guest tonight, Ken Voita. Thank you for coming in this evening and sharing your music with us, Ken.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So, first question I'm going to ask you, Ken, where are you originally from and how did you wind up in Nova Scotia?
Oh, it's a long story. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. And short story of the long story is that my mother's from Ottawa and I moved up to Canada about 10 years ago and took a music tour out to the East Coast, and that was probably about 5 years ago, and I've pretty much been coming back ever since, and now I'm pretty much here permanently.
That's awesome. Well, we're glad that you're here in Nova Scotia with us. And what was what was the thing that made you decide to stay in Nova Scotia? Like, you have the option of being in either Ontario or being in Phoenix or Arizona or being here. Why did you choose here?
It was the people. They were just so nice and welcoming, and then just the appreciation for music as well was just really blew my mind. I'd never really been anywhere, met anyone else in my travels who had shown that level of respect for it. So that was a big part of it. And then I just met so many great people and made so many instant lifelong friends, and so that really just that's what drew me here. So.
Well, that's great. Let's have another song from you, Ken, if you don't mind. What are you going to play for us next?
This one's called Cowgirl Blues.
She's a river you can follow till it runs into the sea. There's a map of this old county worn into her jeans. She can wrap 1,000 pounds of muscle round her finger when she pleases, but she cannot shake the pain that she still feels. Her body's hard and lean, not like those cowgirls from the city who rope and ride neath neon signs, wearing boots that get no use. The ones that have soft hands and marry men just for their money, just like the one her man left her to chase. She sings out that old strawberry roll, and old red lays next to Billy McLean by some lonesome Texas road, where little Joe chops wood while Felina spins and twirls, and there ain't no songs about cowgirl blues. Oh, she thinks about him often, but she doesn't let his memory change the way she's lived a life that's taught her everything she knows. A wild horse running dreams are spread out across this country. One day she's gonna bring them ponies home. She's still singing Strawberry Road. Saddled tramps ain't worth a damn, and Mr. Shorty's all alone. The devil woman gets the cowboy in the Continental suit, and there ain't no songs about cowgirl blues. Cold, clear blue nights with just the stars above to listen, she'll sing that old song that her grandpa used to sing about an outlaw riding down straight from heaven on a moonbeam, singing Healy-O, the Yip-I-O. She's still singing Strawberry Road, and it's a mighty long way to Tucson, through the Badlands of Mexico, wrapped in Utah guitar's old red blanket. The fife plays a lonely tune, and there ain't no songs about cowgirl blues. And there ain't no songs about cowgirl blues.
Thank you.
And that was Cowgirl Blues by our performer tonight, Ken Voita. Ken, can you tell me a little bit about what that song is about? That's a very, very pretty song. I like that.
Well, it's I grew up listening to Marty Robbins, who was a performer from the 50s and 60s, but he did pop songs, but he also did a lot of Western Trail type of cowboy songs. Mm-hmm. And so all those characters in the chorus are actually from his songs and stuff, so they're kind of all collaborated into that. And he had one song in particular that was quite negative towards women, called "I Ain't Got No Use for the Women," which is an old cowboy song. But I've always wanted to write a Marty Robbins song, and I figured I'd kind of write a reply to that, sort of using characters from his songs.
Oh, that's a very interesting concept. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So kind of building on that then, I want to know, looking over and preparing for tonight's show, I know there are lots of artists that you draw from for inspiration, but I'm wondering if there's one singular one that has had sort of the most impact or the biggest influence on the music that you play and the music that you write.
It's really hard to say. There's quite. I could name probably about 5 or 6, but
maybe narrow it down to your top 2.
Okay. I'd have to say Guy Clark and a guy named Nick Cave, which are they're kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum in a lot of ways, but they're very similar in a lot of ways, I think. And the music's very centered on wordplay and stuff like that, and that's kind of what everything centers around. So. I'd say those were the two guys.
Is that what you're drawn most to in music when you're listening to it as a consumer of music? Is it the lyrical content of songs that you're more drawn to, or is it a split 50-50 between lyrics and instrumentation, or how does that work? What do you focus on most when you listen to music?
I mean, it depends on who, because like you said, there's different measures you can do for each one to each other, but I do like I like the literary side of songwriting, the wordplay type of thing, and I like songs that kind of try to push the words out and push a sort of message or an image or a story.
Yes,
and support it, as opposed to everything kind of flowing together. Although that can be great too as well, but that's what I prefer to listen to. That's what I think of when I hear songs, anyways.
Well, we're glad that you're taking more of the story tack with your music tonight. And the next song that you're going to play for us is called South Shore Girl. And I have to ask the question just because I'm curious. Is this about any sort of specific girl on the South Shore, or is it?
No, sorry to disappoint.
No, not at all.
No, I just, when I live outside of my home bay, so I met a lot of really great people and I've made a lot of great friends, but the girls that I've met all around there are very independent and strong, and they travel, and they're very smart, and they can hold their own in a brawl as well. And know 10 ways to shuck a lobster. And I've been doing a lot of work with a band called Caribou Run, and since I've been in Canada for 10 years, and I haven't written a lot of, I guess, Canadian material about a specific Canadian thing, so I kind of wanted to write a song for the band, for them to play with them, and then also I kind of wanted to I think it's time to write something about Canada.
Awesome. Well, here it is. This is called South Shore Girl by Ken Voita.
little an hour. I was down at the Mug on a Friday night, drinking my sorrows down, and I saw a girl as pretty as a bright summer day, shining down on an ocean breeze. In her eyes were the stars of the Milky Way, and in her heart was the raging sea. The fiddles were playing as the fog rolled in. She took me by the hand outside. We took a little walk to the old bandstand. She held me in her arms so tight, and I hoped she'd never let go as she held me so close and loved me till the morning hour. By the time I saw dawn, she had stole my heart, and I hope to God it never is found. And my South Shore girl, come and dance with me. We'll set sail on the bay and we'll never look back, 'cause you're everything I'll ever need. Well, we saved our dollars and we saved our dimes. We saved just a little bit more. We bought a little place by the ocean side, and we hang our love by the door. And the money gets tight sometimes, but we always get by with a smile and a dance and a kiss. The storm in her heart puts a wind in my sails when the tides come rolling in. And my South Shore girl, come and dance with me. We'll set sail on the bay and we'll never look back, 'cause you're everything I'll ever need. And my South Shore girl, come and dance with me. We'll set sail on the bay and we'll never look back, 'cause you're everything I'll ever need. Thank you.
And that was So Shore Girl by Ken Voita. I'm not going to lie, teared up a little bit during that one. So thanks for making me feel emotions, Ken.
Oh, no problem. That's what I do.
We're going to take a short break on the Conquerall Mills Music Show. Please stay tuned for more music from Ken Voita after these messages. And we are back, and you are listening to the Conquerall Mills Music Show on 88.7 Cove FM. And tonight we are joined in the Conquerall Mills Music Record Floor by Ken Voita.
Too kind of you. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much for coming in and playing for us this evening.
Oh, no problem.
So, I understand you had mentioned that you've been playing with Caribou Run, and I know that you have also done some collaborative work with another local artist, Darren Arsenault, who has either at the time of this taping will have been on the show or is going to be on the show, depending on when this one airs. I'm wondering, but with Caribou Run, I'm wondering, can you tell me how that collaboration sort of came about?
I live with a guy named Mike Brunel who plays trombone in the band, and he also does recording work for them as well, and is recording their album, which is coming out kind of the same time mine is. And so I basically just got to hang out with them a lot, and I got to learn the songs, and I kind of ended up standing in on a lot of them and playing harmonica or singing or whatever, and we just, we all just really clicked together, and we all listen to the same music and that kind of thing. We all like the same things, so it just kind of fell together. Tomorrow night, actually, I'm in a trio with the lead singer Drew Moores and Daniel Noble, who's the keyboard player. We're kind of doing a trio thing.
Oh, excellent!
Yeah, don't have a band name yet, but we're getting there. So.
Do you find the collaboration process helpful to songwriting? How does the relationship when you're collaborating with other people? Is it just more, I want to play on this song and maybe you can play on this song, or do you actually like co-write with them and do things like that?
We haven't. We're kind of starting to co-write on a few things, but we haven't finished anything yet. But really, it's the collaboration part is nice because I've been a solo performer for so many years, and I haven't been in a lot of bands or anything, so I'm used to basically playing with myself pretty much, and then and writing by myself as well. So it's really nice when you have other people to bring different things to the table, and then you can get something. You're like, oh, well, that makes way more sense than I thought it would, and because of someone else's input. And so,
Yeah, and I've heard from a lot of, obviously with having the recording studio, I have bands and musicians come through here quite a bit, and a lot of them have said, well, I was a bit hesitant to work with someone else to write a song because I normally work on my own, but they said once they actually collaborated with someone and had someone else sort of pulling a little bit of that weight in terms of songwriting, that it was actually a really enjoyable experience and that it was something that they would want to do again.
Yeah. In my experience, like, there'll be a line that I'm not comfortable with or I don't like it. I change it numerous times, and then someone comes in and is like, oh, it should just be this. And then it's like, oh, yeah, that makes but I would have never thought of that unless somebody had pointed it out. So, yeah, it has its advantages for sure. I look forward to doing more of it in the future, definitely.
Well, let's have another song. The next tune I believe you're going to play for us is called Earthly Desires.
Yes.
Yes, and what is this song about, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it's about hobos.
Just plain and simple, straight up about hobos.
Yeah, it's a song. I was in a band called the Hobo Saints for a brief time in Ottawa, and I basically I'm gonna write a hobo song, so this is what I came up with.
Excellent. Well, let's hear it.
Haven't felt that good in oh so long. All I need is a hardwood floor, a good stack of kindling, and a bottle of nerves. That old dog don't bark no more, he's learned how to live, and I ain't gonna ride the rails no more. No, I ain't gonna ride the rails no more. Tonight is gravy and it sure smells fine. Chase it down with some cheap wine. A breeze blows in for a yawn. Well, they sleep just like a baby out in the barn. My feet are warm in the midst of this storm. I ain't gonna ride the rails no more. Well, I ain't gonna ride the rails no more. may wanna go back. Well, I ain't quite there yet. There's one thing I learned from my old man: this world never gives you back what it demands. All my earthly desires have been spent. All I care about now is a comfortable bed. I bought a new pair of shoes and a top hat too, and I ain't gonna ride the rails no more. Well, I ain't gonna ride the rails no more. Well, I ain't gonna ride the rails no more. Well, I ain't gonna ride the rails no more.
Thank you. Thanks.
And that was Earthly Desires by Ken Voita, a song about hobos. What did you say the name of the group you played in was before you played that song?
Oh, the Hobo Saints.
The Hobo Saints. Can you tell me a little bit about that project?
Well, that was right when I first moved up to Ottawa. Actually, I was kind of just I was doing a lot of busking and stuff, and I met two guys there. One of which actually I'm going to see tonight in Halifax. His name's JF LaFleche. He lives there now. But we basically just got together and we started busking as a 3-piece, and and then we started playing shows and we kind of had a following and stuff like that. And it was like my first band experience. So it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. But then we kind of all went our separate ways for various reasons, and it was a great time.
And now you are in the process as a solo artist of coming up, and you've been recording your album called Highway Sky, which we heard the track, the namesake for the album, was the first song that you played for us this evening. Can you tell me what was the driving force to push you towards recording an album?
Oh man, I've been trying to record an album for 10 years, but that's really the push. I've been traveling so much that I haven't really had time to sit down and hammer anything out. But now I'm kind of settled, so it's really just getting back into the Nova Scotia music scene and getting to know a bunch of musicians and stuff and collaborating like we talked about before. That's really pushed me to do it. And there's a tour in the summer as well, so that's kind of a motivating factor as well. Oh, excellent.
Do you have stops already planned for that tour? Do you know where you're planning on going?
Yeah, that's with Caribou Run actually. I'll be opening for them. So.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so we'll be going as far as Toronto and I think Peterborough as well. So. And Ottawa and Montreal, and so it's going to be a lot of fun.
And maybe a couple stops in between on the way out, or just looking at basically heading out that way and sharing your music in the Ontario area and then coming right back.
It depends. We're still trying to book things and work things around for the way on the way back, but I really hope we go to Newfoundland. I've never been, so.
Yeah, Newfoundland, I have been. I've had the joy of going there when I was younger, and it is an awesome place for sure.
They're trying to get into Lanya Vanya, so if they get into there, then that'll be great.
Oh, that's awesome. And how has the process of recording your album been going? How long have you been working on this now at this point?
Oh, I hate doing it, but I haven't gotten to that point where I love the recording process. Pretty much, the main tracks are all down and stuff like that, and it's a matter of finding out what to put on it and what musicians I want to get together with and stuff like that, and the work side of things, basically, the sitting down and hammering that stuff out. And as a traveling musician, I'm just starting to get used to that. So,
well, Ken, how about you play another song for us?
Sounds good.
What are you going to play for us next?
This one's called Lullaby.
oceans that have kept you company, where your questions swim next to the whales of the deep. Oh, my little darling, won't you find your way to me? Underneath your sky is a land where all may know the breath of nature's sigh, like the grass between their toes, climbing trees with your dress on until you feel your lungs. Oh, my little darling, won't you find me later on? When she twirls her curls, she rings out all the world, and it rains down here on all of us who feel its every turn. In the touch of those hands is the joy of every birth. Oh, my little darling, for it is from you we learn. So, my little darling, go on back to sleep, and may your gentle heart be always curled up next to spring. May your love be unfolded and ripened on the tree. Oh, my little darling, in you I can believe. And with these final words, the man he turned and walked away to go about existence in his disappointing way. For his burdens were his own, and he would not cause her pain. Oh, my little darling, it can be no other way.
Thank you.
And that song was called Lullaby. What I meant to ask you, something I meant to ask you before you played that song regarding your album. I'm wondering, do you have all the songs written for it? Is it all material that you've saved up, or did you have to write new material for this?
Some of the songs are from quite a few years back, and some of them are pretty like as recent as this year and last month. So.
And obviously with Highway Sky, I would assume that would be winding up on the album. Or other selections that you're playing for us tonight, are those going to be on the album as well? Or
yeah, pretty much all of them are going on there. Earthly Desires, the hobo song, is probably that I have enough songs for 2 albums, but I don't want to overwhelm myself. I just want to get one done. So so that one will probably be later on in the summer when I'll be recording that one.
Might have to be like a B-sides and rarity sort of deal.
Maybe, yeah. It's a more country-centric album, so like I want to get like steel guitar in there and stuff like that. So whereas this first one's going to be folk, very simple arrangements and stuff like that. So
cool. Well, we are heading into our last break, so we're going to take our last break here on the Conquerall Mills Music Show. Please stay tuned for more from Ken after the break. And we are back. You are listening to the Conquerall Mills Music Show on 88.7 Cove FM, and tonight we are joined in the Conquerall Mills Music Record floor by Ken Voita. Thank you again one more time for coming in and playing for us tonight.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
The next song you were going to play for us is called Plans for You. Can you tell us a little bit about that song, what that song's about?
I actually wrote this one about a month ago, so this is probably the newest song that's going to be on the album, timeline-wise, but I just heard the phrase "plans for you." I heard someone say, "I've got plans for you," and it kind of just went from there, and been listening to a lot of bluegrass, a lot of like Ralph Stanley and Stanley Brothers and stuff like that, and it kind of just rubbed off on me a little bit.
Excellent. Well, let's hear it, Ken.
I've got plans for you, my love. It's all written down in the stars up above, in the whispering pines on the wings of a dove. But lonely we shall be no more. My dreams cannot hold me over long, or hold back the growing of seeds that are sown. I will not stand by, and I won't cry no more. By your side is where I belong. I've got plans for you, my love. It's all written down in the stars up above, in the whispering pines on the wings of a dove. But lonely we shall be no more. How could I have not known it all from the start? There never has been someone else for the part. So long I was blind, I held fast to my heart, but now I will give it to you. 'Cause I've got plans for you, my love. It's all written down in the stars up above, in the whispering pines on the wings of a dove. But lonely we shall be no more. I can see a house of our own in the hills, where the willow tree waits for our cups to be filled, where the years roll on by and our love stronger still. There's no life I rather would lead. And I've got plans for you, my love. It's all written down in the stars up above, in the whispering pines on the wings of a dove. But lonely we shall be no more.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
And that was Plans for You. I would like to know, you're in here tonight playing guitar, and you've also played a little bit of harmonica for us. Tell me, do you play any other instruments?
I do actually. I play a Irish bouzouki, which is a mandolin instrument. I do quite a bit with that, accompanying other people as well. But yeah, pretty much I try to keep it between mandolin and guitar. I get too distracted. I tried learning the musical saw once, and that was just a waste of time. But and then I do a little bit of piano too, but that's mainly what I stick to.
Which instrument did you start on?
Guitar.
Started on guitar, and then how did you get into playing the bouzouki? Because I know, a lot of people would say, oh, maybe I'll learn mandolin, or oh, maybe I'll learn how to play the bass, but I don't know too many people who gravitate to the bouzouki. What was it about that particular instrument?
Well, the band I was in Ottawa, the Hobo Saints that we talked about earlier,
Yes.
a guy already played guitar, and then another guy played like a snare drum with brushes, and so there wasn't really room for another guitar, and the guitar player basically said, "Can you play mandolin?" And I'm like, "Well, I think so. I don't know. I have one. I'll try it." And he's like, "Yeah, it's just the top four strings of a guitar, but upside down." Yeah, so that was about 8 years ago, and I've been playing it ever since. And then I got into Celtic music, a band called Planksty from Ireland, who actually brought mandolin into Irish music in the '60s, and brought bouzouki's over from Greece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so they had the first Irish bouzouki actually made, and Donald Lunny did, and a few other guys too. So I listened to them quite a lot for a couple of years, and so I just said I'm gonna get one, and that's how that worked. Yeah.
And when you're recording your album, do you plan to use any other instruments and play other parts on it yourself, or are you just going to focus on playing guitar and the singing aspect of it?
I'm definitely gonna have some bouzouki on there for sure, and then I'm gonna try to do some interesting stuff, maybe with like keyboard and organ and piano as well, stuff like that. That stuff needs to be worked out, and then I've had a banjo player on there as well, so I'm gonna try to get as many people as I can to play on the album, because I'd rather not play all the parts, to be honest.
And are you doing this in like a home studio sort of setting, or are you going to an actual studio in like the city or around here to record? What's the plan there?
It's a home studio. It's basic equipment kind of stuff, and then also a few friends in Mahone Bay have some equipment too, and they're going to help with mastering and stuff like that. So
excellent. You're all going to sort of pool your resources and whatnot, and yeah, that's how I had to start off when before I had the studio that we're in here tonight. It was working out in my parents' basement with the limited gear that I had, and seemed to recall recording some metal albums in my house when maybe mom and dad went out to dinner one night. Hopefully they knew about that, and I'm not blowing our cover. You know, we get an angry call from mom or dad.
Yeah,
but
that's the magic of radio.
Everyone knows what's going on.
Can't take it back once it goes on air.
But I'm going to get you to play another song for us, Ken, and this is a cover that you chose tonight called Stuff That Works by Guy Clark. Is that who it is? Why did you choose this particular tune for your set this evening? Not just because I asked you to add one more song to the set.
No, I always try to play one of his songs. He passed away this year in May, actually, which was unfortunate because I really wanted to meet him. But this song's it's just the imagery of the words, and then also the metaphors he uses with just inanimate objects, like how the song starts off with him placing value on objects that he uses every day, not like decorative pieces or stuff like that, but like things that actually help you live. And then towards the end of the song, he relates those to actual people as well, and like how the feelings are kind of similar and can be similar. So I like the way that he plays around with that concept, and he that's what he tends to do in most of his songs, is he has really interesting concepts and ideas like that, and then he plays around with the wording with it, and it all kind of just right towards the end of the song ties in together. So.
All manages to click into place. Well, this is Stuff That Works by Guy Clark, as performed by Ken Voita.
Got an old blue shirt that fits me just right. I like the way it feels, so I wear it all the time. I got an old guitar that never stays in tune. I like the way it sounds in a dark and empty room. I got an old pair of boots that fit me just fine, and I can work all day and I can dance all night. I got an old used car that runs just like a top. I get the feeling it ain't never gonna stop. Stuff that works, stuff that holds up, kind of stuff you don't hang on the wall. Stuff that's real, stuff you feel, the kind of stuff you reach for when you fall. I got a pretty old friend, hell, he see me at my worst. He can't tell if I'm a blessing or a curse, but he's always there when the chips are down. And that's the kind of stuff I like to keep around. Stuff that works, stuff that holds up, the kind of stuff you don't hang on the wall. Stuff that's real, stuff you feel, the kind of stuff you reach for when you fall. I got a woman I love, she's crazy, she paints like God. She's got a playground sense of justice, she don't take odds. I got a tattoo with her name right through my soul. I think everything she touches turns to gold. Stuff that works, stuff that holds up, the kind of stuff you don't hang on the wall. Stuff that's real, stuff you feel, the kind of stuff you reach for when you fall. The kind of stuff you reach for when you fall. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And that was called Stuff That Works. Unfortunately, we are getting near the end of the show, so I'm going to ask you my last question for you, Ken. And I'm just wondering if people want to learn more about you and your music, where can they go to check that out?
They can go on SoundCloud, and it's Kenneth Voita is the hashtag for it, or when you type into the search engine or whatever.
Okay.
And then Kenneth Voita on Facebook, and then yeah, those are the two main ways to see me until the website gets built.
All right. And are you available for bookings if people wanted to perhaps hire you to come out and play at events and things like that? Are you available taking bookings and things like that at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I play a weekly music show every Friday night at Mateus Bistro, but I have no bookings for this month because I'm just working on recording, but I'm always open to play shows and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely hit me up.
And in addition to the weekly shows that you're playing at the Mateus Bistro, do you have any other things on the horizon? You had mentioned a tour coming up this summer. Do you know when you're going to kick that off?
It'll be kicked off probably mid-May, and we're still determining because we're going to have a CD release show somewhere in the area on the South Shore. We're still looking for a venue for that, but we have a couple in mind. And then we're basically going to be doing a couple shows in New Brunswick and then in Ontario and stuff like that. So that's the big thing coming up pretty much.
Well, certainly when you start touring around, if you're ever looking for a venue to play, maybe we'll try to get you down here for a house concert or something some
Absolutely.
evening. And
I'd love
get
that.
you down
Yeah.
here, a nice little intimate venue, and I'd be more than happy to have you back. So
Awesome. I'd be more than happy to come back. This place is great.
thank you very much. What is the last song that you're going to play for us, Ken?
This song's called Barefoot.
And what's the story behind this one?
Well, some of my songs are kind of biographies of people that I meet, and they don't know that. So I try.
You can't say too much of them.
I try to not let on who it was. But this person was. She was just pretty. Sometimes you meet people in your life that are they're just beyond your comprehension as human beings. They're just the way that they live and stuff like that. It's just how do they do it, and kind of like, wow, I wish I could do a lot of those things. And this person just really struck me in that way, and this song just kind of came about as a result of that.
All right. Well, this is Barefoot.
way you smile at ships when they're passing you by in the night. And I wish you'd show me how you hide all that pain deep down in your eyes. And I love the way you laugh at all of those things that some people must have. You have made this young man old. Time is a beautiful healer, I'm told. And you are a rarefied piece of the earth, barefoot and born of the wind. From a sea of sorrow you gave me a pearl and told me I still had some love left to give. That maybe some of my dreams aren't as nice as they seem. Darling, you let me know. I wish I could have held you near, and maybe a good man might well have appeared. I know I tried to make you change, but some things are already perfectly made. And you are a rarefied piece of the earth, barefoot and born of the wind. From a sea of sorrow you gave me a pearl, told me I still had some love left to give. And maybe some of my dreams aren't as nice as they seem. Darling, you let me know. Darling, you told me so.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Very kind of you.
And that was Barefoot, unfortunately the last song by our artist tonight, Ken Voita. I want to thank you again, Ken, for coming in tonight and playing for us. Let's give him another round of applause.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You're too kind. You're too kind. Thank you.
And a special thank you, obviously, to our live audience and our listeners at home this evening. The Conquerall Mills Music Show is hosted, produced, and mixed by Stefan Ramey, and our recording engineer for the evening is Adam Fancy. To hear tonight's broadcast and other previous episodes, please visit our YouTube channel by searching Conquerall Music. Please do not forget to subscribe and like our videos. Please stay tuned next week when our guest will be the Lyle Cat Blues Band. You have been listening to the Conquerall Mills Music Show on 88.7 CKVE Cove FM and online at covefm.com. Please stay tuned to Cove for Time Machine with Bob McDonald at 9 p.m. Have a great evening.